welcome back to another live session. So today we're tackling some of the big topics, alright? And none is more so important than how not to be a wanker on social media. And that's one of the things that a lot of people struggle with, a real heap. I mean, yesterday I came across another wanker. Absolute knob, this bloke, absolute knob. And so I'll go into that a little bit later. But so we're going to touch on that, how not to be a wanker on social media. Because look, you'd think it's not that hard not to be a wanker, but a lot of people really struggle with it. So yeah, we'll go over that, digest that one, and then we'll go into are superfoods actually that super, and then why you're not losing that fat from your midsection in your tummy, okay? Because it really shouldn't be that hard to lose that fat eventually if you work hard enough, okay? First of all, who we got online? Neil, Luke, Blake, welcome lads. Evening Luke, how are you mate? So yes, as always, if you have any questions that you want to go over, doesn't have to be related to the topics at all, you can ask me literally anything you want, alright? Ask away, okay? Just type up a little question there, pop it in, click enter, and I'll go through it with you. Fardy, welcome mate, good to have you on here. Azzy Faye, big legend. Righty, I'm just going to share this in the strength community and then I'm going to be with you guys. Today's going to be a good one because a lot of you can relate to the wankers on social media. I think that's going to dominate a lot of this one. But first of all, we'll go through the other stuff which we have to do because so superfoods are the most talked about things, but straight up, they're really not that great. Okie doke, so that's all shared now. Ooh, everyone's already on board. Welcome guys, welcome. Julie, Fardy, Betty, Sammy Arnett. I'll get around to your question in a sec, my man. Tyrone, Tizza, Shane Eric, Paul Curry, Beauty, Shane Webley, good to have you here, big fella. Rightio, let us get into it. So, first things first, why you've still got tummy fat. Alright, so here's the scenario. So you've been dieting for ages, okay? You've been dieting for absolutely ages. You're tracking your calories, you're watching your macronutrients, you're doing your cardio, you're doing your weights. Now, if you're not doing those 5 things, okay, start doing them because that's the reason why you're not losing fat in the first place, alright? So, you're doing those 5 things, everything that you need to do. You're exercising, you're eating right, you're supplementing right, okay? That's all sorted. You're not losing fat. So why is it? Why is that happening, alright? The most common answer to why you're not losing fat from the stubborn tummy region is because in most people that's just the last area of fat to go. So you just need to diet a little bit harder. Literally, that is it. Alright, that is all you need to do. Okay? You just need to simply keep pushing, keep going a little bit harder, and it will go. Your body prioritizes certain areas to lose fat, alright? So some areas get leaner a lot quicker. In men, it's normally around the arms, so that's why lots of dudes have got really shredded triceps and bis, even if they've got like a stomach. The back is often quite lean as well, and some people get lean through their legs too. Alright, women will tend to hold more fat around their hips, their thighs, and their love handles. Men, it's often the midsection, the abdomen, and the love handles too, okay? That is just something that happens, okay? There are a few potential genetic and environmental reasons for this, okay? But that is just what tends to happen. You just need to diet harder and harder and harder and push. That is how you can start mobilizing that fat, alright? Now, on top of this too, one thing that a lot of people forget is that when they're looking after those 5 key things I mentioned at the start, which are looking after your nutrition, looking after your training, your supplementation, making sure your calories and your macros are right, okay, if you're looking after all those things, one thing that a lot of people forget is stress, alright? The 5 stresses, these things that I talk about all the time, and someone's already asked us about this before. We already have one question about it. And the 5 stresses, alright? So the 5 stresses being emotional stress, so stress in relationships, friendships, family, all that sort of stuff. Psychological stress, so your perception of stress from work or extrinsic influences. Your physical stress, how much you're training, are you training, are you not training at all, is your lymphatic system working, all those sorts of things. What else is there? There's digestive stress. So is your digestive system stressed out? Are you eating good food? Are you drinking, stuff, drugs, all those sorts of things? And then the resting stress. So are you actually getting enough rest? If you are not looking after those 5 stresses and you're not balancing them all out to the optimal level, you will not be able to lose the fat from this area. It simply doesn't happen when you're imbalanced for an extended period of time. Yeah, you can get away with it for a couple of weeks, okay? You can get away with it for a comp prep, because inevitably throughout a comp prep you will disrupt that balance at some stage. But I tell you what, you lose fat a hell of a lot better when those 5 stresses are in balance, okay? So the easiest way which you can balance all these out is by maximizing the amount of sleep you get, making sure that you're eating smart and looking after your digestive system, periodizing your training programs, okay? So periodizing your training, making sure that your nutrition's on point, okay? And then making sure that you're a chilled out person, you're happy within yourself, because when you're happy within yourself and you're loving life, I tell you what, you lose fat so much better. I use myself as an example for this all the time, because 2016 was a really shit year for me. I had an absolute shocker, alright? I was stressed out of my nut, okay? I wasn't prioritizing my relationship, my family, my friends, or anything like that. I literally locked myself away, work all day, didn't get any sun. I was just lifting way too much, and I was absolutely exhausted, and I pushed through, and I had a shit time. I was not enjoying life. I looked like crap, okay? And it was not good at all, okay? So don't be like me. Don't be like an idiot that 2016 Papa Shred was, okay? I wasn't Papa Shred then, I was Papa Fat. So yeah, look after yourself, make sure you're happy and you're balancing those 5 stresses. That is how you can start losing that last little bit. Now, if you want to take it a step further and you want to look into actually specific spot reduction, well, there's no actual conclusive evidence to suggest that spot reduction of areas exists. So when I say spot reduction, this means that when you train a body part, people sometimes expect that body part to get leaner, alright? So if you do more bicep curls, people say, oh, you lose fat from your arms. There isn't any real evidence to suggest that it happens. However, if you are willing to just go the extra mile, then yes, 100%, start training a little bit of abs, because it will improve blood flow to the area, which may improve the ability to mobilize fat. But there's no evidence to suggest that. That's just a theory that I have, and I'll tell you what, when I'm going into some comps, when I have a lot of energy and I'm feeling really good and I can train for an extra 15 minutes a day, I will do a bit of abs. For most of my guys, I actually don't even bother though. So, you know what I mean? It's one thing that's quite iffy. It may potentially work, but then the cost of training abs, in that you get 15 minutes less sleep, 15 minutes less family time, 15 minutes less social time, may actually outweigh the benefits, because, well, shit, there may be no benefits whatsoever to training abs, alright? But I'll tell you what, one thing that I know for sure, if you're fat and you can't even see abs, doing sit-ups all day, every day is not going to get you abs. What's going to get you abs is getting lean, okay? And that goes back to the original thing, looking after your nutrition, your training, and your stress, alright? Do those things and you will be sweet. Okay, the next one. Are superfoods really super? Now, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, alright, is going on about superfoods at the moment. They've been the rage for the last 5 years. Since I've been in the fitness industry and actively in it, I've seen superfoods just come up and rise, and that's what everyone's talking about. Now, the news are onto it. All the chicks who pose with superfoods next to their ass and their tits, they're all onto it as well. But do these things actually work? And are they actually super? Now, people say that some foods are super because they contain certain amounts of nutrients or antioxidants, alright? Now, so people are touting stuff like acai, what do they call it, blueberries, chia, well, crap like that, alright? Spirulina. They're saying that all these things are superfoods. Straight up, guys, they're really not that super. Now, I recommend having a greens drink in the morning for all my guys, because it's been shown, or in some areas it's been shown, to actually improve your digestive health, okay? So I recommend that. That one, I guess, you could kind of say is a superfood. I wouldn't really call it super, though, because it tastes like shit. But the other ones, like your chia seeds and all that crap, there's nothing special about them. They're overpriced, overmarketed bullshit. That's literally all those things are. Honestly, guys, there are no real superfoods out there. Superfoods do not exist, because in the end of the day, if a food isn't bad for your digestive system, if a food is not pro-inflammatory, if it's not unhealthy for you, then it's going to be just as good as every other food. All foods have got benefits if used in balance, alright? In fact, the best superfood, if you want to call it a superfood that you can have, it's just a diet filled with a large variety of veggies, a large variety of foods for that matter, because every single food has got its own little benefit. So don't get sucked in by this bullshit marketing, alright? By these fraudulent scumbags, these snake oil salesmen who are selling you, you know, go have superfoods, drink your acai every day, and have some chia seeds with it as well, and pay me $50 for 100 grams of the stuff. Right? Don't get marketed into that. Right? They don't exist. They're nothing that fantastic for you. The best thing you can do is actually have a proper diet, look after your digestive health, and look after your stress. Go back to what we just talked about then. Look after your diet, your training, your stress, and that's going to be the most super thing that you can do for you. All right? Now, how not to be a wanker on social media, right? I'm going to give this to you guys in a 3-step guide. Right? Now, most of you, because you tuned on here, you'll pretty well know how not to be a wanker because you guys are pretty good blokes. But you're going to see a lot of people out there on social media who are commenting away and doing dickheadish things. So perhaps you can pass these words of wisdom, I guess you say, if you think I'm wise, I don't, but these words of wisdom onto these people, right? So, I'll tell you my story. Yesterday, I had a bloke comment on my post, and I was saying something about how I'm feeling absolutely fantastic and my dopamine's thriving. If you want to improve your neurotransmitters, right, all you do is you just take these three neurotransmitters, beta-theocrine, theanine, alpha-GPC, and you feel fantastic, which literally every single one of my clients can relate to because they're they're 2 of the 3 standards which I recommend all the time. Theanine and theocrine, always recommend them. And this guy says, he says to me, oh, this is a really good this is a really good sales tactic, but it's incorrect and you've got no knowledge of science. So I was like, why the fuck would you say that? Like, bruh, I studied this in uni like 4 years ago, alright? I spent a lot of time there and there's a lot of smarter people than you and I who are telling me this. Like, why would you bother going out and saying this? And then he kept going on and rambling on and rambling on and rambling on. And to be honest, like, I just kind of left it because I'm like, who the fuck are you? But that is the biggest dickheadish thing because as somebody with no qualifications coming out and trying to tell me I'm wrong, like, you guys know I don't really talk about stuff unless I'm right about it. I'm very confident I'm right, and I learned that lesson a long time ago. Like, why would you say that? Why would you go onto somebody's post and just start trying to talk shit about them with no basis or no facts or anything like that, okay? So that's what happened. It happened yesterday, and I just thought, you're a wanker, mate. Like, you're an absolute wanker. Why would you bother with that? But anyway, he did, and so here is my guide on how not to be a wanker. Number 1, okay? If you see a post that you scroll past and you don't like, scroll past it, alright? Don't sit on there and stew on it and start bitching and moaning and spreading negativity into the world, okay? We've already got enough fucking negativity. Kim Jong-un's threatening to fucking press the red button every day. You know, we've got bloody politicians being assholes all over the place. We don't need, geez, ISIS are beheading people. We don't need some knob on Instagram going through and calling some chick a slut or a whore or saying, no, you're wrong because I disagree with you. Right? Just leave it, alright? Very simple. Don't spread more negativity than what there needs to be, okay? We don't need it. It doesn't help. You don't feel better. I don't feel better, alright? Just scroll on past, okay? That's the big one. Really, really big one. Number 2 of how not to be a wanker on social media. Do not advertise products that you will not use yourself, okay? So a lot of people out there get paid to do sponsored posts for products which they do not believe in whatsoever, okay? So if you get offered free clothing or free supplements or free anything to do a post, or you get paid to do it or something like that, don't accept the money unless you actually use it, because it's quite immoral if you are preaching stuff which you don't even use, alright? Logic, okay? So that is the number 2 step on how not to be a wanker, okay? As for number 3, alright? Number 3. The easiest way not to be a wanker on social media is think, do I really need to say this? Okay, is it going to help anybody by me saying this? And this really stems off number 1 as well. You don't need to comment on posts about negative shit. You don't need to post up negative shit. You don't need to bag out every other person, and you do not need to put others down to ascend yourself up the food chain. Now, the most common way which us humans like, well, not us, I'm not including myself in that, that's for sure, but the most common way that most people like to ascend their social status is by dragging somebody down. Now, that's a real wankerish thing to do, okay? So you hear this all the time, people bagging other people, doing call-outs on social media, alright, calling people out, wankers, and saying all these things about people and having personal jibes at them over social media, but they'd be too gutless to say it to their face, alright? Now, I think you guys will all notice that I will never actually personally call somebody out on this, because why? Well, really, what's the help? I'll use stories to make my, I'll use the stories and examples to make myself a little bit more relatable so you know what I'm talking about, but I'll never say something like, you know, Joe Timms has gone and said this and this and this, and Joe Timms is a wanker, alright? You don't need to do that at all, alright? You just don't need to go and be an absolute knob like that and personally call somebody out just to ascend yourself above them, because that's all it is in the end of the day. Put simply, nobody gives a fuck, alright? Stop putting the crap out there. Stop putting people down. Be a little bit positive, okay? Be nice, be happy, and give something to somebody, alright? Now, the next thing, this is a freebie as well, step 4. How to not be a wanker is just be nice, just be good. Put stuff out there which other people actually want to see. We are fed negative bullshit every single day, alright? It's a deluge of shit, okay? Don't go on social media and put out more shit onto it, okay? Do not go and flash about some fake lifestyle to try and say that you're better than somebody else. Just be real, just be a human, show some genuine care for some other people. That's what I try to do. I mean, you don't see me trying to wave my dick around and say, oh, I'm the biggest alpha male here on fucking social media, I'm the best on Instagram. You don't need to do it at all, just be nice, okay? Scroll through your news feed, double tap on a few things, say you're a good bloke to a couple of people, make their day doing that. Alright, and if you're going to post something up which is going to help somebody else. It's not all about us and being egotistical. You just got to be nice and give something forward. You'll feel better, they'll feel better, and then in turn when they feel better, they'll do something nice for somebody else, and everybody wins, okay? So they're the 4 steps on how not to be a wanker on social media. Alright, if you don't like a post, scroll past it. You don't have to fucking comment on it, okay? Number 2, don't advertise bullshit products that you don't really like, okay? You can spread that out there. That one should really be out there. Number 3, you don't need to push out more negativity than what there is or already is in the world. And number 4 is preach some positivity, alright? Simple. Now, with that little rant out of my way, let's go on and let's get into some of these questions, because there's already heaps. Now, Samiana has just asked, how to minimize the 5 stresses. Great question, my man. Great question. This is going to be part of the course which I give out to every single one of my clients. So for those of you who haven't registered for that new link that I've been posting up on the Shred community and emailing to you, do it so that I can send out this course to everyone, okay? Now, how to minimize the 5 stresses. So the 5 stresses, let's recap them. Number 1, okay? Digestive stress. Number 2, your resting stress, so how much you're actually resting and recovering. Number 3, these are psychological stress, so your perception of stress around you, like work stresses, environmental stresses, stuff like that. Number 4 is your emotional stress, right? So your perception of your relationships, your family, your friends, all those sorts of stresses. And what I missed, the physical stress, all right? Physical stress? Yeah, physical stress. So how much training you're doing, the lack of training, exercise, all those sorts of things. So how do you minimize the 5 stresses? Well, it's not actually about minimizing it, but improving them and balancing them out really well. One thing about stress, which a lot of people forget, is that you need stress in order to adapt. When you lift in the gym, that is a stress and it causes adaptation. When you diet and you reduce your calories down, that is a stress and it causes an adaptation. When you increase your calories, that is not really as much of a stress, but it does. I guess you could call it a stress because it causes adaptation. Anything which causes a change to your body and your homeostasis is a stress. Alright? So you want to balance your stress out. You want to have the most optimal level of stress so you progress as quickly as possible while having as minimal side effects as possible. Alright? So, number one, how to improve your digestive stress. Don't eat like a dickhead. That is the best way to improve it by far, alright? The second way to improve your digestive stress is to improve the amount you're resting. So, to number two, improve your resting stress. Balance out the amount of time you're working and you're stressing and you're training to the amount of time that you're resting, right? Get your 8 hours or more sleep per night. Studies have shown that athletes who get more than 10 hours sleep per night perform significantly better than those who don't, and that's with the only variable being the amount of sleep, okay? And then the third one, the next thing we need to do is we need to look after your emotional stress. So with your emotions, they're a really big part of bodybuilding, okay? Really big part of looking good, getting lean, all that sort of thing. I don't know if you've noticed, but whenever people go through a breakup or have a death in the family, their physical appearance changes like instantly changes, and then they also get effects on their digestion, okay, and they get effects on their sleep, alright? So if you're not looking after your emotional health and you're not managing all that, and you're having issues at home with your partner, with your mates, all those sorts of stuff, you're isolated, it can really set you up to mess up the other stresses, which in turn cause poorer gains, okay? So the best way you can do this, that I recommend, is to see a shrink, alright? This thing is really, so many people are like shit scared of going and seeing a shrink. I see a shrink all the time to keep myself up here going well, alright? It is about continually maintaining your body and looking after yourself. I think I train every single day. We'll train 5 days a week, alright? And I'm doing physical activity every single day to look after my body. Why the hell would I not go see a shrink once a month to look after my mind? I mean, it's common sense, isn't it? Right? Go see a shrink, look after someone and help yourself deal with stresses that you go into life, because there's going to be a shitload of emotional stress out there that you get all the time, okay? Number two is be social. Spend time with people who you value. When you do this, you get a boost of dopamine, you become more motivated, and you perform better, and you're a shitload happier when you do that, okay? So don't lock yourself away in your little lair. Go out and spend time with people that you care about. At the same time, minimize the amount of time that you're spending with toxic people. Get rid of them, because they never, ever end up having a positive effect on you, okay? I don't have any studies to back that up, how it affects you, but you and I both know that it does, okay? Psychological stress. What you need to do here is straight up, you need to minimize the amount of shit that you're dealing with from the outside. So if you are at work and you're fucking hating it, find a way to love it or change your job, okay? That is what you need to do, plain and simple. I don't know many people who can do very well and feel fucking fantastic if they're hating their job at work. You spend more time at your job than literally anywhere else. Why would you work in a job that you fucking hate, okay? Either learn to love it, make it fun, or leave, go, try do something else, okay? The next one after that, oh, there we go, psychological, got it. So physical stress, okay? With your physical stress, a lot of people think that in order to optimize how much you train, optimize your gains, your fat loss and all that, you need to just train more, okay? Not the case. Unfortunately, you can't just train more all the time, because you need to balance this out. Now, if your resting stress is too high, so you're not resting enough, you're not digesting your food well, you've got bad emotional stress and bad psychological stress, if you increase your training stress as well, it's going to really interact with all them, and your gains are going to go down. So what you need to do is you need to modulate the levels of stress. So as your stress goes up, you either need to take something to bring them down, like supplementation, as I do with all my clients, or reduce your training volume, okay? Or alternatively, if your stress is great, you can increase the amount you're training so that you balance it out and you progress much faster. So that's a very long answer, but I hope it helps out. Now, Shane Eriks just said, big Shane, legend this bloke, in relation to wankers online, if they badmouth your product or personal, there are actions which can be taken with us people in blue. Mate, I appreciate that very much. Guys, you know, I get bashed all the time online, and it's like, that's a part of it, because people are wankers and they don't listen to what I just said before on how not to be a wanker. I think it's just because they don't know how not to be a wanker. So yeah, appreciate it, Shane. But yeah, we try to have thick skin here every now and then, although I do die a little bit each side if someone badmouths me. Mickey Raw. James, Metamucil, good or bad? I actually don't like Metamucil because it contains sucralose. There is no point in putting fibre into your body when you're pairing it with sucralose, because sucralose actually impacts your gut. Alright, so it has a negative effect on your gut in literally every single person, okay? So, don't do Metamucil, just go out and buy some, I think it's Benefiber, that's what my boys use. better fibre because it's actually naturally flavoured and still has all the good aspects of Metamucil. Colin Gear, how are you, legend? Kush Walia, Bud, I messaged you earlier but haven't got any reply yet. I really need to be lean, but my diet isn't good. Any suggestions? Big fella, I've been out all day. I've had meetings with my IT man, George, because we're just pimping out the website. We've got some really, really cool stuff happening. So yeah, I'll get back on to you ASAP. Big Adam Blake, good to have you on here, mate. Mitch Sellers, how are you, legend? Liam Chenery, Michael Dyball, my man. Shane's just asked, is apple cider vinegar good to have before each meal as well? Are the apple cider vinegar tablets okay to use? Alright, so is apple cider vinegar good to have before each meal? Yes, it is. It's fantastic. If you can stomach it, big fella, which I'm sure you can because you're a tough bastard, yes, mate, smash it before each meal. The apple cider vinegar tablets are also fine, alright? Even better than the apple cider vinegar tablets, I just recommend getting betaine HCl, okay? If you're going to have it in tablet form, you're going to take it away from how it's normally contained, then yeah, I just switch to betaine HCl. Jaden Bateman just asked, hey legend, I'm just wondering how taking 100 milligrams of caffeine or so for pre-workout would compare to taking Theocrine. Very different, mate. So with taking your caffeine, more people get a crash than when they take Theocrine, okay? So when I take Theocrine, I don't get a crash at all, whereas if I take caffeine, I'm like off my nut for like hours afterwards and then crash really, really badly, okay? And I find that caffeine actually affects me cognitively in both positive and negative ways more than Theocrine. With Theocrine, I get a slight buzz and then level out, whereas with caffeine, I get like off the bloody Richter scale and then crash really, really hard. I actually find it very hard to focus on caffeine because I'm shouting, like jittering out around all over the place, okay? So that's how I do it. However, a lot of people do function very, very well on caffeine pre-workout, and it is extensively studied and shown to improve workout performance in a lot of cases and improve strength. However, from what I've seen, Theocrine does the same thing, just with less side effects. Jackson Jones, how are you, big fella? Jackson just asked, hey James, would not eating breakfast and not eating before gym be beneficial to fat loss? No, not at all, mate, not at all. I wouldn't do that. The most beneficial thing you can do for fat loss in regards to eating timing is optimize your workouts. If you eat at times which are going to make you perform better and lift better in your workouts, then bang, you're going to lose more fat and you're going to gain way, way more muscle. That is what it's all about, and that is why nutrient timing is so, so crucial, man. Because you don't want to skip out before breakfast, because generally most people get tired unless they're used to an intermittent fasting protocol. And as for before the gym, well, I don't know about you, but if I'm starving before the gym and I'm not fasting for a specific reason, I train like shit, okay? So I would not recommend that whatsoever. Aaron's just asked, legend, how are you going? Quick question, mate, I had radiotherapy for cancer when I was younger around my neck. Well done for beating it, big fella, that's awesome. And cannot grow traps to save myself. Is it possible to turn the scarred tissue from it to muscle? Mate, that's a really, really interesting question. Dude, I'm going to have a read up of that and I'll see what I can find. I can't give you an answer right now. I don't speculate. I don't talk about anything I don't know about. So yeah, man, that's a really, really cool question. I guess if you've damaged the cells, the muscle cells around there, and they're not working properly, then it'll be slower. But if you haven't damaged the satellite cells around them, then you should theoretically be able to turn satellite cells into actual myocytes, so muscle cells. So yes, potentially, man. Don't know, I'll have a read for you and see what I can find. Daniel McNish. In regards to getting simple greens and veg, what do you tend to go for? Fresh, frozen or canned veg? I haven't really looked at the nutritional side of canned veg before, but interested to see your view. Mate, I never go canned because it tastes like arse. It's disgusting, alright? What I get is I get all my meals prepped for me by a company called Daily Fuel here, alright? So Gemma from Daily Fuel, she looks after me and she gives me the meals, and that's what I eat because it's super easy. On top of that too, I go for frozen veg because, well, I'm a bit of a lazy bugger and I've got a shitload of work on, so I'd rather just eat frozen veg. The thing with frozen veg is they've actually shown that it may in fact be fresher than fresh veg because it's actually snap frozen once it is picked, so it may be better for you. But is the difference between fresh and frozen going to be that big? I don't know, don't think so. I just go for frozen because it's more convenient. If I find evidence to suggest that frozen veggies are less, beneficial than fresh ones, well, I'll share it with you, but I don't think there's any evidence at the moment. Nixon Hamilton, how are you, legend? A while back I was told that the reason I had fat around the mid and the sides was due to higher amounts of estrogen. This was at a supplement store and was obviously trying to push a product. Still want to know if the point had any truth. Guys, one thing that you'll know is that people who want to sell shit and they're snake oil salesmen will literally tell you anything to get a sale, alright? Now this person may have been trying to be helpful, but they're straight out wrong. There is no evidence to suggest that estrogen levels have any impact on the midsection whatsoever. Now back in the day, about 10-15 years ago, there was some evidence to suggest that estrogen levels impacted the hamstrings and impacted the pecs, alright? Pecs in men, breasts in women. Well, I guess pecs in women too. But yes, so there was some evidence to suggest hamstrings and chest, but not really anymore. So no, big fella, that's incorrect, straight up. But it did sound legit, and I'm sure that he has conned many unsuspecting victims into buying some shitty anti-estrogen product, which doesn't work anyway, because literally none of the anti-estrogen products on the market will really do terribly much, such as calcium D-glucarate, unless you're deficient in beta-glucuronidase, or sorry, have too much beta-glucuronidase, and DIM, unless you're using, artificial HRT. Luke Glasson. James, any thoughts on technology addiction, mate? Constantly on phones, PC, TV, avoiding quality sleep, etc., etc. Yes, mate. Look, technology addiction is a really, really good point. I'm actually really glad you brought that up, bro. That's a fantastic question. So whenever you're on your phone, whenever you're doing this, like interacting with people, you're getting constant dopamine bursts. Every single time you get a like on Facebook, you get a little burst of dopamine, okay? And what this happens is, well, this is like taking cocaine. So when you give a human or a rat or anything cocaine, it gets a burst of dopamine, and so it gets a little high and it feels fantastic, alright? And then it wants another high, and then it wants another high, and then it wants another high, and another high. That is the same as your likes. That is the same as sugar. That is why obese people become addicted to sugar, because every time they ingest sugar, they get a little hit of pleasure, a little hit of feeling fucking fantastic, and they want it, and they chase it, and they chase it, and they chase it. That is exactly the same as on here. Now, is it really about addiction though? The thing with social media and whatnot is that, well, yes, okay, it is about addiction, but at the same time, the other thing is there's a disconnect with friends and disconnect with society. When you are feeling isolated and alone, okay, and you are not close enough with people that have genuine friendships, you actually often turn to social media. That's what a lot of people do. Now, I'm not saying that's you guys, but that's what a lot of people do. They lock themselves away and they go into this virtual reality where they get constant hits of dopamine, as opposed to spending actual quality time with people, alright? So that is one thing, and that is the most common thing with any addiction, is that any animal, so they've done this repeatedly in rat studies, is that, and I think they've done it in human studies too now actually, they've shown that if humans have got, or animals have got, no social relationships with other animals of the same species, alright, they don't have any of that, they'll become addicted like that to any drug. However, if there is the option of taking cocaine in one thing here, or hanging out with their mates, okay, they've got two options. They can either choose cocaine or friends. Literally every single time they choose friends over cocaine, there is no addiction that happens whatsoever, okay? So that's on the addiction side of things. Now, as far as how it impacts quality sleep, in children this is massive. Much like if you give children sugar all the time, they'll get fat and they'll just keep eating it because they don't know how to control themselves, and they're not educated enough to recognize the negative side effects from doing this. If you whack an iPad in front of a child, or whack a phone in front of a child, yes, of course the child's going to get addicted to it, because this is their first hit of dopamine ever. Their brains are fresh. It's like that child is literally on cocaine all the time. Every time they get a like, every time they do something, they're getting hooked and hooked and hooked and hooked, okay? So that is a massive, massive addiction, all right? In adults, yes, that is also addiction, but if you know about it, if you understand that these things do give you dopamine bursts and you are constantly hooked on your phone, I don't actually classify that as addiction. In an educated adult, I would actually classify that as a lack of self-restraint, okay? You know that it's bad for you, yet you're doing it just because it's easier. You should be able to restrain yourself. So I don't blame it on addiction. An addiction, in my opinion, for an educated person is a cop-out, all right? It is a lack of willpower. You should be able to put the phone down. You know that looking at your phone right before going to bed is going to mess up with your sleep. If you're there every night staying up to 2 a.m, looking on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, watching movies, doing stupid shit that does nothing positive for you, okay, you know you're doing the wrong thing. So just put it down. You're not addicted. You just got poor self-control. That is it. One thing I recommend really, really highly for all of you guys is to minimize the amount of screen time that you have 2 hours before bed. I've got these funky little orange glasses that one of my boys, Joel Donaldson, you all know Joel, legend, that bloke, and he's using these orange glasses which blocks out blue light. And I do that because the blue light from your screens and from literally anything, it keeps you awake. So yes, minimise that because that will massively impact your quality of sleep, right? So I hope that long tangent answered your question, big fella. Ooh, Tyro Matthews just said, mental trigger by Redcom 1 is an alright pre-workout. It contains caffeine, alpha GPC and theocrene. Alright, very cool. It really depends on the doses of those. What is most common with literally every single nootropic supplement, like those fucking Shine drinks? I don't know if you've seen Shine drinks, but they're literally just backed by caffeine, that's it. And any of these pre-workouts, they say, oh, this is the best nootropic thing ever. And all it is a shitload of caffeine with small amounts of the other nootropics, because nootropics are very, very expensive, alright? So that's all it is. You've got to make sure that you've actually got good doses. With alpha GPC, I recommend 200 milligrams to 1 gram of the stuff to get a good effect, alright? Most pre-workouts have got like 25 to 50 milligrams, so it does nothing. Theocrene, I've seen pre-workouts with 15 milligrams in it, and I recommend 100 multiple times per day, okay? So you've got to be careful for that. Ali, gelatin for gut health, what do I think? Gelatin for gut health is really quite superfluous. It really doesn't do much. Just eat a little bit more meat. You're going to get a bit of gelatin in that, okay? So I don't bother with it at all. I've taken gelatin for gut health in the past and I've recommended it in the past, but the results just weren't there. They were just, honestly, the results were not good enough. The main things you need to do to improve your gut health is to get your gut moving, okay? Look after your neurotransmitters, start feeling better, and then if you really, really want to just, you know, throw the kitchen sink at it, yeah, have a bit of glutamine, have a little bit of gelatin to help out. But otherwise, I wouldn't bother. Put it this way, I don't take gelatin, okay? I don't take it, don't see the value in it, and don't see it having any positive effects, or any real positive effects over eating a healthy diet. Guys, one of the biggest things too that I need to get across is that the majority of results for anything is about optimizing your diet, optimizing your training, and making sure you're sleeping well. Those 3 things, that's what you need to do. Everything else is an add-on to that and should use as an extension to improve your results further, as opposed to negate the negative effects of having a shit diet, shit training, or shit sleep and rest. Christopher Simon, when looking for decent protein powders, what don't we want to see in them? Sucralose is the number one that you don't want to see in. Now the Subito one has got sucralose in it, okay, that's why I can't take it all the time, but it seems to be okay, so I actually react okay to that one. But I don't use it all the time because of that. I just go for the aminos now. So sucralose, which is in literally all of them, so try to get a naturally flavoured one. You want to have generally a WPI, because lots of people react to the lactose, which is in most WPCs, so the whey protein concentrates. What else do you want to see? You don't want to see a fucking ingredients list like that long. You literally just want to see protein. You want to see that it's got like stevia or some sweetener in it, a little bit of flavour like cocoa or something like that. Sometimes they have xanthan gum to improve the consistency of it, which is actually a prebiotic, so it's pretty good. And that's literally it. That's all you want to see in there, okay? Simple as that. Aaron Stiles, how are you, big fella? Kano, Sambo, John the Cruz. Computers, fitness, politics, pretty much every idiot with a keyboard thinks they know it all and that everyone else is in the wrong. Yes, 100%. Johnny Harrell, dude, you bag trainers in every video. Yes, I do bag a lot of trainers. Well, I don't actually bag specific trainers. When you see me call somebody out, you can say, James, you're being a wanker because you just called somebody out. I actually don't bag any specific trainers. I just bag the bullshit that comes out of their mouth. Alright, I'm very happy to bag bullshit, but I don't bag a person, and I'll never actually put something on somebody else's post. I'm not like an internet troll, big fella. Alright, so yeah, this wasn't very nice. Johnny, you hurt my feels. Paulie Smith, I've been stuck on low carb for some time now. Thoughts, I don't know what to do. Have some carbs. No, simple as that. Justin Lancaster, how are you, big fella? Good to have you on here. Timmy Nesbitt. Unfortunately, a lot of young, impressionable guys see Instagrammers and they think they're alpha being wankers and try to emulate their behaviour. True that, man. I don't know where the fuck this alpha mentality came from, but I tell you what, I literally don't see that alpha mentality when they're in person. I see, the funniest thing is, right, there's guys who promote this alpha lifestyle and they've got luscious Range Rovers and they're wearing fancy clothes and they're doing all this stuff. When you see them in real life, literally they can't string two words together, okay? It is absolutely hilarious. So that's a little bit of insider info for you guys, because I know a lot of the people in the fitness industry. And yes, no, a lot of the alphas actually aren't alphas. Fun fact. Johnny Harrell, one video you said SARMs were no good, then last video you said they were alright. Did the company contact you? Johnny, are you calling me a fucking sellout, mate? What's all this about? I thought we were friends. Jesus, you're roasting me today, mate. You're roasting me. So, guys, yes, in the past I've been very critical of SARMs because I've said, why the fuck would you take SARMs when you just take steroids? They're both illegal, okay? Then I found out SARMs aren't illegal. So I'm like, shit yeah, go for SARMs because that's the best legal mass builder on the market right now. I am all for everything that is legal, okay? So, here's my thing. If you have a choice of taking SARMs and steroids and they're both legal or they're both illegal, alright, take steroids every single time because you'll have the same side effects with more gains, okay? Either way, you're going to get a couple of side effects, right? SARMs or steroids. However, if one's legal, one's not illegal, one's legal, one's illegal, okay? You go with the legal one because it's legal and breaking the law is not good, alright? So John, I don't know what to say, mate. I thought we were mates, but clearly not today. Alright. It hurt, bro. I'm not a fucking sellout. Not happy. Josh Bishop. Josh has just said, bros, how's things? Any chance you can send me a list of good proteins, pre-workouts, and any other subs you think I should get on, please? They're on the supplement sheet, big dog. Look, as far as proteins go, I don't even really recommend that much protein anymore. Really dropping them out unless you want to have it for meal one, like right when you're waking up, because that's it's just convenient to have a protein shake and get a bit of easy protein in and get some fats or get some carbs in. Right? I actually recommend aminos, so essential amino acids above all because they're so much better digested. And that Sabedo one, well, I formulated it. And no, John, I don't get a cut from Sabedo. I just like the owner, Sean Cooper, alright, terrific bloke, and he looks after all my guys. So that's why I recommend them so highly and why I actually volunteer my time to design the amino acid mix. I recommend that one because it's got BCAAs, EAAs, and electrolytes, which are like literally the three best things you want around your workouts, okay? That is the main thing that you will want. As far as pre-workouts, man, theocrine, that's the bomb, absolutely fantastic. Bit of tyrosine, a little bit of acetyl L-carnitine. Yeah, that's probably what you want. And then a couple more electrolytes or some rock salt. Anthony Drysdale, how are you, Big Rig? Bro, struggling to sleep lately, apart from SUPs, any natural remedies to help with sleep? Chamomile tea, any good? Mate, look, I'd straight up recommend SUPs because, well, you need to fix a neurotransmitter deficiency that is causing you to stay awake, alright? And chamomile tea is fantastic. A little bit of lavender is fantastic. Meditation's fantastic, okay? So, yeah, go with them. On top of that too, minimise the amount of blue light you get through the day and maximise the amount of sun you get. Get to the beach, spend time, be active. Actually, if you're not sleeping well, the best thing that you can do is to remove all your stress and exercise more, and you'll actually find yourself feeling a heap better. Kristen's just said as well to help you out, Anthony, he's just said, lavender oil on your pillow and temples, also mega magnesium. Fantastic. Yes, Mummy used to put lavender oil on my pillow and temples when I used to not sleep, and it was actually really, really good, and I'm going to start using it again. Who we got on here? Big Sambo, City, Guy Layton, Tristan, Alan, Renee, Scotty Larch, Woodsy, man, Stu, Renee Cromley. I love your form, you're a legend, and thank you for helpful knowledge. Thanks, buddy. Anytime, good fella. What else we got? Josh Bishop just said, I have a Red Bull or coffee most mornings just to help me through my day. Dude, Dude, guys, any of you, if you are taking a Red Bull or a coffee or a shitload of caffeine just to get through the day, you need to sort it out. You should not be doing like that. You should not be doing that at all. Get off it. If you're reliant on anything, you need to get rid of it. It is not good to be that reliant on something, okay? Cut the Red Bull, alright? Straight up, that stuff's shit, alright? Ruins your digestive tract, never good for anybody, okay? Coffee, yeah, that's fine, but you don't want to be smashing like 6 of the bastards just to get you through the day, okay? So you need to really sort that out, man. You need to, you need to get off that and start sleeping more. Big Joe at Thahara legend. Can you mix arginine, tyrosine, and L-carnitine in your pre-workout? Fucking oath you can, bro. We do that all the time. So yeah, they're great. Time Anthony. Chaz said, what's your view on Charles Poliquin and his biosignature course? Mate, I think Charles Poliquin's about 10 years ahead of the game. That bloke is highly smart. However, there's a little bit of stuff in there which I've implemented and have seen fuck all results from. His biosignature course, well, he doesn't actually do the biosig course anymore, so that's not really his. That's what's called the Poliquin group, to my knowledge. Biosig is the Poliquin group, so it's not actually run by him. He does some other stuff now. Google him, he's on Strength Sensei or something like that. I don't follow him as much as what I used to, but I know he's got a heap of really cool stuff coming out, like with like kinetic chain enhancement, which is like improving movement patterns by releasing certain parts of the body. Alex Poole. Alex has said, would you recommend us ladies who are trying to lose weight to take Alpha Mars and Alpha Venus supplements? Yeah, so ATP Sciences has come out with some really cool supplements, 2 of which being Alpha Mars and Alpha Venus. Now, in some girls, I've seen really good effects with these. Some girls, I haven't, okay? So, yes, you can give it a nudge, definitely. They're not really that expensive. The worst you can do is lose $100. You know, you might want to do it, but, you know, there are some potentially very good upsides. So, yeah, give it a nudge. But the most important thing is to manage your stress, okay? Manage your stress, manage your digestion, and most of that stuff will be sorted out. Right? You shouldn't be relying on supplements to give you results. You should be just utilising them to give you better results. Big Paul Curry. My 8-year-old son loves pills, pushing sleds, etc. Should I be encouraging him? My 8-year-old son loves pills. Yeah. Nah. You're going to have to say that again, Paulie. I'm not sure. I don't think your 8-year-old son... Oh, there we go. He's corrected it. Sorry. My 8-year-old son loves pills. I'm like, I hope not, man. You've got to wait till at least he's 16 when he starts loving them. My 8-year-old son loves pull-ups, etc. Should I be encouraging him or wait until he's a bit older? Man, I actually haven't seen any evidence to suggest that doing pull-ups, push-ups, or anything like that actually has a negative effect on development. Now, look at me. I started lifting when I was like 13, 14, all right, somewhere in that rate. I think I was 13 actually when I first started lifting. It hasn't really stunted me. Well, look, my old man's 6'6", so he's like pretty much 2 meters tall, and I'm a short ass and I'm 6 foot. However, at the same time, my mum's like a midget. So I might have been met in the way, or it could have been because I was lifting weight that maybe I didn't grow as high, as tall as what I potentially could have. But that was from lifting weights. Push-ups, pull-ups, all that stuff, man, get into it. Get him into it. I mean, dude, he's going to love it, mate. When he's at school, if he's doing pull-ups and push-ups and he's bigger than the other kids, he's going to have the easiest ride ever. I mean, I look back on my schooling career and, like, I was an awkward kid, guys. Like, I was an awkward kid, and the one thing that really got me through was that I was good at sport and I was athletic and I was bigger than most of the other kids, okay? So, man, geez, get him into it because he's going to get the girls, and he's going to be popular, and he's going to be good at sport, and he's going to do way, way better than otherwise. And if he is a legend as a kid and he's not anxious like I was, then he's going to kill it even more. So yeah, man, get him into it, 100%. Fuddy's just asked, does sleep apnea affect fat loss and building muscle? I do have it, and I do often get 7 to 8 hours a night sleep, but wake up often. Yeah, man, massively. Sleep apnea is going to screw you over. All right, we need to fix that, brother. We need to fix that up big time. And the easiest way is to lose a shitload of weight. Okay. Zach Davis, what do you think about drinking water during eating? Mate, I love drinking water. It's fantastic. Now, some people say that you should wait 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after eating to drink your water. Okay, so you shouldn't have water while you're actually eating because it impacts digestion. Well, sometimes I see that in people who have impaired digestion. Yeah, definitely. But Often, I mean, that's not the thing that's causing the bad digestion. The thing that's causing bad digestion is impaired neurotransmitters, which are then causing the stomach to tighten up, excessive amounts of stress, lack of rest and digest, and then obviously everything gets all bundled up, chuck in some water, and it just pushes it through, which is when it's digested really poorly, okay? So if you've got bad digestion, yeah, okay, I'd think about skipping water during eating, but if you've got it good, it's pretty sweet, okay? Harry Banner, what do you think about Alpha Brain by Onnit? Mate, no idea, never seen it, okay? The best thing that I recommend is going on to totalnootropics.com.au because they get all the bulk powders, alright? It's the cheapest place where you can get it. I know the owners, alright? What's his name? Chris Kulak, terrific bloke, really good morals, okay? And he's not going to dodgy your stuff. So yeah, man, that's who I recommend you get your stuff from. Buy all the raw powders yourself and then reassemble them. If you buy them in packs, there's automatically a markup on it, so it's actually making it more expensive for you, okay? But look, I'm sure that Onnit's going to be great, and Alpha Brain's going to work really, really well for you. It's going to be more expensive, and perhaps not in the ratios of nootropics than what you would want. Big Blue Summers, how are you, mate? John Harrell, Johnny, who's been ripping on me all night. Come on, bro. Johnny just said, all good, man. Was just thinking about all these performance additives and supplements. Just wondering why modern humans resort to such measures. Fuck, bro. Mate, you want to see my supplement cabinet? Alright, I'll show you guys my supplement cabinet. Literally. Dude, I take that much shit just to be better every single day, okay? This is what I take. This is everything here, alright? Where is it? We got him. So what? Beta-HCl, GABA, 5-HTP, probiotics, berberine. You can see this, I hope you can. Magnesium aspartate. This is a gut health one, which I don't really use as much anymore. More 5-HTP, glucosamine, all that shit. Bro, I take literally every single thing I can to make myself 1% better, alright? It is a no-brainer to do it because, fuck, who doesn't want to upgrade themselves? I mean, if you can take a nootropic which improves your neurotransmitters and allows you to function, you know, like 30% better, shit, no-brainer. If you can take a SARM, okay, which is going to make you grow faster, right? And you're looking after yourself, you've got the great protocols, all that sort of thing, all that sort of stuff, and it's going to make you grow faster, well then shit, I don't blame you for doing it whatsoever, okay? I think that we should all be aspiring to be the freakiest levels of humans that we can possibly be, you know what I mean? I think it's a no-brainer to enhance your performance to the absolute level. Now maybe that's because I'm a meathead and I'm all about lifting and being a freak, you know, and doing absolutely everything possible. So yeah, maybe that's just me, but I think, man, we should resort to every single measure we can to live longer, to live better, live stronger, all that stuff. In fact, that's what I literally spend my life doing. Rightio. Lucas Glasson, thoughts on diagnosing adrenal fatigue? Lucas, you're trying to make me rant, mate. Adrenal fatigue doesn't exist. Plain and simple, okay? Doesn't exist. Your adrenal gland does not get tired. It does not stop working. It does not go on holidays. It does not take RDOs. It does not have weekends, alright? It does not get tired. It does not get fatigued. It does not need to rest, okay? All that happens is you overstress your body. Stop trying to look after this fucking little adrenal gland, which is fine. It's happy, it's merry. It's just getting the wrong stimulus from your body, okay? Because your sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive and your GABA levels are shot, alright? That is what you need to focus on, not on the adrenal gland. If somebody diagnoses you with adrenal fatigue, they're a fucking muppet. I'm sorry to any of the very, very lovely people out there who've been diagnosing people with adrenal fatigue, but it doesn't exist, alright? Yes, the symptoms are real, okay? The symptoms of tiredness, chronic fatigue, alright? Inability to think, focus, no sex drive, all that, yes, they exist, but they're not from the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland's fantastic. In fact, the adrenal gland's working so well that it's pumping a shitload of cortisol into you, which is making you feel these things, alright? It's also making you run on adrenaline, making you feel this way. That's why you've got anxiety, not because the adrenal gland's not working, because you are in sympathetic overdrive, because your body is way too stressed, you're constantly perceiving stress, and your GABA levels are in the gutter. Boom, boom, boom. Joshy Bishop, I don't drink 10 Red Bulls or coffees a day. I just have one in the morning before work. I sleep a minimum of 8 hours a night, so I'm good there. I just start at 5:30 and work till 6, and it just helps kickstart the day. Just chasing something, I don't know, I could maybe take and use it for the same reason. Alright, cool. So dude, if you are unable to perform a 12-hour shift, alright, without taking caffeine, you should probably try and fix something up, dude, alright? There's going to be something in there. But if you're just having one coffee to get you up in the morning and get you going, you know, that's not bad. Another thing I recommend is taking a little bit of licorice root extract, which is going to give you a bit more energy, and some fair cream. Shit, chuck in some alpha GPC while you're at it. Graffy just said, I wish I lifted in high school. I looked like a pencil, was insecure, and got no chicks. Darren Graffy, mate, I got no chicks and still lifted in high school. So, bro, tough times. Alright, I feel you, man. I feel you. Timmy Nesbitt, how to adjust diet and training while on SARMs. Mate, they're pretty much like testosterone. SARMs are going to increase your muscle protein synthesis because that's how they work. So just feed yourself calories because you'll be able to eat more while staying leaner. Savannah's just asked, what's your recommendations on weak body parts and what are the ways to attack them? Number one, what you need to do is you need to learn how to contract those body parts properly. Fix your biomechanics, fix your movement patterns, alright? I'm constantly working with my boy Jason Lamb here in Sydney, at St Leonard's, on improving the way that I'm moving. Down in Melbourne, when I'm down there, I go see this bloke called Andrew Locke, and he's helped me out immensely as well. That is what I would recommend to do, man. Go see somebody who can make you move better. When you move better, you will grow better. It is no coincidence that most Asian men have got massive legs, okay, and they grow their legs really, really well. It's because of the way they move, alright? It's the way they move, it is because they've got flat feet, and their movements cause them to develop more mass of their legs because they move inefficiently, alright? It is no coincidence that people who can't bench press for shit and do this thing, alright, they always have big delts and no chest. That is because their delts are taking all the strain. So if you improve that, then you'll grow. As for your programming, you need to program very, very specifically to do this. So you should be using certain exercises which encourage the utilization of the correct body parts, okay? So for example, for lats, you use lat activation exercises because that can help with literally everything, alright? So it's all about improving movement patterns and better programming. Zach, Big Rig, how to lose belly fat. Mate, follow the plan that we've got you on and you will be sweet. Okay. Now guys, I'm going to stick around for a couple more minutes if you have any more questions. I'm just going to sip on my water, and yes. So if you've got anything, ask it. If not, in 2 minutes, I'm going to jump off. So guys, look, I must say as well, tonight got a little bit negative with the old how not to be a wanker on Facebook. But seriously, how fucking awesome is life? Like, life is literally that good, okay? Literally, life is so good that, man, I can't believe that we're not more thankful for it. So yes, I want to say thank you very much to all of you for coming on here, because I love doing these live sessions and you're absolute champs. Josh, you just asked, when am I coming to Darwin? Alright. That's actually a good question. So at the moment what we're doing is we're pretty much getting our team established in WA, alright, so that's what we're doing, because I want to make sure that all our WA guys are really, really well looked after, okay? In Sydney, we're also growing Sydney at the same time, and Melbourne. Why we're doing that is pretty much what we want to do is we want to make it so that everyone who trains with us, they're actually a part of a team and they've actually got fellow lifters to work with, because lifting can get really, really fucking lonely, alright? That's what I want to do, is I want to make sure that all our guys are looked after. Plus, add into that as well, we've literally got about 7 of WA's top 7 athletes in physique bikini. So that's why we're really focusing hard over there. But Darwin, on to your actual question. I'm going to be trying to come up to Darwin quite regularly within the next few months. All right. So this year, I'll be looking to have a Northern Territory team member to actually be out there full time, so that we can organise barbecues for all of our athletes. All right, for everyone who's training with us, so that you can come along, you can meet, you can talk, and you can start lifting. All right. And then as well, we'll probably try and open up some personal training, because there's literally 0 fucking quality personal trainers going around. And yes, so we can do that for you as well up there in Darwin. Now, Ned just said, mate, your hair's too short. You look better with long hair. Mate, Ned, I've got a girl who looks after this for me. Her name's Sarah. She works in Neutral Bay, and she's fantastic, and I think she would beg to differ. So I quite like the shave side. It's aerodynamic. Right? Aerodynamic. Luke, I'm not going to buy in to your bait there. I'm getting me to rant on Assai again because it's bullshit. Timmy Nesbitt's just said, PCT for the LGD SAM, Clomid post for 3 else or extra support Clomid post for 3 weeks or extra support during or after needed. Mate, yeah, dude, you're going to have to get someone to look at you. You've got to run your bloods, you've got to look at a heap of shit. You can't just, you can't just, you know, expect general advice. There is no general advice. I would never, ever, ever give out general advice when using, I will very rarely give out general advice when using pharmaceutical enhancements, okay? Would not do it because there's so many individual variables in there, right? Your body weight, the amount you dose, the length of the cycle, all those sorts of things play into it, and really you need to be guided by your bloods. Blakey's just said he's got his theocrine and theanine in the post. Mate, you are going to have next level function when you get on that stuff. Guys, if you're not already on theanine and theocrine, you should get onto there. Now, Jody Tyson, I've just seen that you've just said little asterisk community. I think that you're missing the first putty question. So I'm going to stay on until that bad boy's up, and then after that I'm going to sign out because everyone's dropping off at the moment. How long have we been going? Fuck, we've been going for an hour. Jeez, I can talk shit, can't I? That's incredible. Jody, you got that question for me, mate? Ryan's just asked, what is that theanine? I just joined. Theanine is a supplement, it's a nootropic which improves your focus, increases your GABA levels and works really, really well, works synergistically with caffeine and theocrine. Dope. Jody just asked, hey James, I know that my current waist measurement is hands down due to stress. However, my whole life I've had skinny legs and some tummy fat. Even when competing, my legs were always lean, but I only had abs on stage. So is it realistic for me personally to get super lean around my midsection given my genetics to be an apple shape? Yes, it is. You can get super lean around your midsection. You've just got to lose fat everywhere else. And the thing is, you've also got to stay lean for that. So what most people do, like you, Jody, is when they diet and they compete, they cut, drop the calories right the way down, starve themselves, have a very shit time, shoot their stress up through the roof, and then after comp go and binge. Alright? Nailed it. You just whacked on another 20 kilos and you're back to well past before when you started, okay? If you do that, you're never going to stay lean around your midsection. What you need to do is you need to diet, alright? Get shredded as anything, feel fantastic, modulate your stress using, you know, all the techniques that we use, which you will be, and then after that, you stay lean, okay? You don't blow out, you don't binge, you just stay lean all the time, okay? That is what happens. Now, Ryan's just said, good old cortisol bending you over. Yes, cortisol is bending you over. Anyone who diets and then rebounds afterwards, that is cortisol having its way with you, ravaging you, you know, and it's, you know, not using a condom either. It's gross, it's terrible, okay? So yeah, don't let cortisol ravage you. On that note, I'm going to leave you all to it. It's a pleasure as always, and I will see you next time. Enjoy your night, guys.